There are cities that only truly come to life near midnight dot, when people have gone home, when the noises of the day fade away, and all that remains are people who don't know where to go dot. This is the last bus of the day, not because it's the latest, but because after it, there will be no more. The driver has been driving this bus for years dot, at the same time, on the same route, the same feeling, as if every day is a copy of the day before. People once asked him, driving alone at night like this, don't you feel lonely? He didn't know how to answer, because in truth, he had long since stopped distinguishing between sadness and not being sad. Passengers boarded the bus dot, silence dot, no one asked the destination dot, no one asked the fare dot, no one looked at their phone dot. The bus started moving dot. At first, he didn't notice dot until the bus stopped at a station. The doors opened and no one got off. He thought they must be getting off at the next station, but then the station after that dot, and then another station dot, no one left the bus. For a moment, he wondered, if no one gets off, where exactly is this bus taking them? He looked in the rearview mirror. The faces in the back were strangely calm. Not sad, not happy, just empty. After years of running this route, he realized there were things no one had taught him, not written in the handbook, not in the instruction manual. But if he did it wrong, he always felt something was wrong. He tried turning on the radio, only static. He tried asking a passenger, which station are you getting off at? The man replied very softly, any station will do. The man didn't seem distressed, but he didn't seem happy either. He spoke as if he were used to living without emotions. I used to think just fulfilling my responsibilities was enough. The man said, being a good father, being a good husband, being a useful person. But at some point, I no longer remembered who I was. The driver said nothing, but each word sounded as if it were being spoken to him. Another woman spoke up. Her voice was very soft. There are things, if you don't say them in time, you'll carry them with you for a lifetime. He asked her, are you waiting for someone? She shook her head. No, I'm avoiding something. He didn't ask what she was avoiding, because deep down, he knew that feeling. Silence enveloped the car, but it was no longer a peaceful silence. This silence was filled with things that had never been said. A young man sitting at the back of the bus spoke. I don't think I'm suffering. I just see nothing. No dreams, no fear, no expectations. Waking up in the morning, just to wait for the night. The driver's hands tightened on the steering wheel. He looked in the rearview mirror. His face was reflected, overlapping with the faces behind him. He couldn't remember when started to resemble them so much. No pain, no joy, just existing. Then a voice rang out, not directed at anyone, but touching deeply. When was the last time you felt truly alive? The bus continued to move. The road ahead grew darker. No signs. No people. At the next stop, someone boarded the bus. A familiar gait, a familiar breath. That person sat right behind him. He asked, his voice hoarse. Where are you going? The other man replied, I'm going with you. He looked in the rearview mirror and saw a face exactly like his own. Not distorted, not frightening. Just too familiar. The other man said, you don't need to be afraid. I didn't come to harm you. He asked, so who are you? The other man looked straight into the mirror. The part of you that you left behind. Old images flooded back. Mornings, waking up without expectation. Days lived just to get through them. The other man said slowly, you didn't die in an accident. You died slowly, day by day. The day you stopped dreaming. The day you stopped asking. The day you accepted that simply existing was enough. There are deaths that don't require an accident, that don't require illness. Just too long without living authentically. The car slowed down and stopped. Not a place in front of him. Just silence. The other person said, "You can get off, or you can stay." He asked, "Stay? For what?" "To continue the journey," the other person replied, "because not everyone is ready to see the truth right away." He looked behind him, tired. People. Empty. He looked down at his hands, gripping on the steering wheel. "If I stay, will I still be myself?" The other person said, "Perhaps. This is the first time you'll truly be yourself." He closed the car door. The car started moving again. There are people who don't need to be saved. They just need a journey slow enough to realize what they've overlooked. At another station, a person stood waiting. The door opened. He asked, very calmly, "Where are you going?" The other man was silent for a moment, then said, "I don't know." He nodded slightly. "It's all right. Everyone's been through this." The door closed. The car continued rolling into the night. Some people die once, and some people only begin to live when they dare to look back at themselves. Room 404. This hotel was nothing special. It was old. Quiet. And always had rooms available. People often say, places like this are only for people who don't want to be remembered. He checked in near midnight. The receptionist didn't look up.